we're meant to be friends. Look at that. I'm not from California, but I just happen to wear this hat when I'm inspecting bees. But I saw you were asking for help, so I'm here to give you tips all the way from Charleston, South Carolina. I'll say you're going to get a lot of opinions, so this is from my perspective, my opinions. There's not a lot of right or wrong. Like, you'll figure things out and learn. So I believe in no judgment. Let's just help each other out. So that's what I'm here to do. Okay, I wanted to know, when did you get this nuke? How long have you had it, first of all? I noticed it was in a 10 frame box, and it looked like they weren't even covering 4 or 5 frames. So I would potentially look at getting them into a smaller box, like a nuke. I also noticed your frames, they were black. I'm assuming those are black plastic. I've never had luck with those. Like, early on, I've been a beekeeper for 10 years now. Early on, my mentor back then introduced me to natural frame wax. You'll see that in my hives. I'll show you what I use, but from looking at the bees, it doesn't look like they're really taking to those black frames. And then I also noticed in your background, it looks pretty dry, which is, it's very dry here in South Carolina. We haven't had a lot of rain. So my other tip is feed. I don't know if you've looked at any feeding possibilities. There's lots of options out there. I'll show you what I do with the hives I'm about to inspect. But there's cheap ways, there's things to buy. But my first instinct is those girls are hungry. So let's feed them. That can turn a hive around in no time. But I'm also, I am curious if you have a queen. I don't know if you've ever seen her. If the nuke you purchased, did they show you the queen? Did they tell you, like, oh, she's marked and she has a white dot on her? That is the color for this year. But from the little bit I could see is they're making a queen, which either means they swarmed, or the queen died, or maybe you weren't given a queen. I don't know. I'm not here to badmouth another beekeeper that sold you a nuke, but yeah, that's why I'm asking, like, how long have you had that nuke? If it's been a minute, a few weeks, I mean, maybe they swarmed. But yeah, I'm going to show you a couple of my hives, one that's really strong, one that is actually building out a queen right now, and kind of share with you some tips from my approach. But again, answer a few of those questions and we'll keep this conversation going. But welcome to beekeeping. It's so fun. Okay, Erica, here we go. I'm going to show you some of what goes on in my hives, some tips, how I check if they're queen right. I'll show you the feeding I have set up for these girls, but yeah, let's dive in and I'll show you some things to look out for. So this hive, actually, I am monitoring to see if they are going to swarm soon or not. They had started to make swarm cups. So the cups were empty. There weren't any eggs in them. So I was leaving them alone. But today for this inspection, holy moly, they are very happy, very busy. You will be there someday with your hive. So they're building out more comb here. This is a honey super on top. I'll actually show you that real quick, what it looks like inside. So far, like, hey, this hive is looking great and busy and awesome, but I think my big concern right now is, do I still have a queen? Have they swarmed? All that kind of stuff. So I'm actually just going to remove this right away. Most likely the queen is in the brood boxes at the bottom. Woo, it's heavy. Ugh. Tip, don't ever set your bees like on the ground. Y'all can see that, how I've got it on the lids. So Erica, the thing to look at here, this is the feeder that I have. I just started using it this year. I don't necessarily support a certain brand or not. They're out there everywhere. So maybe find a local California bee company, small organization or small business that sells these. This location is really far away from my home, so I wanted to make sure these bees had food because we're not getting rain these days. So, all right. So Erica, what I was going to show you is this kind of frame. So there are frames you can buy. I'm not paid by this company, but Swampland Bees, they're in Florida. They actually make these frames, and it has real wax on it, which bees take to really, really well. They love it.
So this frame they built out really well, but mainly probably because I had the feeder. So when I give them a fresh frame, I want them to build it out as soon as possible to make sure the queen can lay. Now, what people will probably comment on is this is kind of spotty, which is a whole nother topic I won't even go into. And let me show you actually how it starts. I'm over here in my bee mobile getting one. So I used to build these by hand, and they are a pain in the rear, but this is how it looks. This is real wax that the bees actually like so much better versus that black plastic. It's okay, but it looks like they're on your hives, they're not wanting to lay on it really well. So it could be the frame, it could be they're starving, so feeding them could be the solution. So in your case, because you saw, I think it was a queen being built there in the center frame, I immediately think like, well, is your queen missing? Is she dead? Did she swarm? So Erica, I'm going to finish doing this inspection, but I wanted to show you the feeder. Look out, girls. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. I'm just trying to make sure I don't injure anybody, but it's going to happen. I try to prevent it. So I had filled this up before. Now, granted, it takes up 2 frames in your brood box, but obviously, like, these bees are so happy and we haven't had rain because I've been feeding them for months now. I brought these girls out here in early March, so they've been here maybe like 6 weeks at this point, and I've already added the honey supers. So feeding them plus any nectar that might be out there was a huge bonus, but this kind of feeder I'm a super fan of, you know, especially if you can't check on your hives a lot. So maybe look into those different frames, look at feeding them, and then look at maybe putting them in that smaller box, maybe even the nuke box they came in, because it looks like there's a lot of room that they're trying to protect and manage. And so minimize that. Maybe that'll help. So let me know what other questions you have. But welcome to beekeeping, Erica. It's a problem-solving adventure, but it's so much fun.